What I see today too often is people that look at the system and say, somebody's trying to steal the election, somebody's cheating, and that's not true. We have people that try to, in fact, game the system. We know of people that have tried to vote in more than one place. They get caught and they get prosecuted. It's almost impossible to cheat, but I think overall, as people have analyzed and looked back at all these elections, no matter what the complaints have been, the courts and others have said, the elections have been accurate, that they've not been any mistakes made that would overturn the election. I believe that we ought to have an attitude that we can trust the election process. It's been with us since our inception of our country. I've started an institute at Utah Valley University called the Gary Herbert Institute of Public Policy. And one of the things that we've studied and done some research on is, can you trust the elections in Utah? Can you trust the counts? Are they accurate? Do people have access to it? Or is there transparency? And the answer from the research is absolutely yes. We live in a state that really does have a good system that in fact provides the right outcomes and accurate numbers and accessibility for anybody who wants to vote. I know we can trust them in Utah, and I believe we can trust them in most every part of the United States. I'm a believer in trust, but verify. If there are concerns, if there are issues that people see, talk to your clerk. They'll show you how they do it here in Utah from the beginning to the end. I think you'll get confidence in knowing the system works. If you don't like what you see there, talk to your legislature. I've asked the question of many people, are these the two best candidates we have in America? 340 million people. Are these the two best we have to run for the highest office in the land, for the presidency of the United States? I've never had one person ever say yes. We've had a lot of resounding no's that say, no, this is not. If that's the case, then we need to look at the system and see if there's something wrong with the system that's not giving us the best and brightest people. And I think the system is in need of modification. For example, right now, you go to Iowa first, then New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada. And for those 4 states, for many people, that's the end of the road for them. Candidates drop out. They don't last longer than that time. And I think it's a little weighted towards the East. You might be good in the East, but bad in the West, or good in the North and bad in the South. So I think some form of rotating regional primaries. We don't need to go to the same states first all the time. I'm not sure that Iowa or New Hampshire represent the views of Utah. And so we ought to have a system where all 50 states and our 5 territories have the ability to vote for whoever's running for office. Then we would get a consensus candidate and we'd say, you know what? These may be the 2 best candidates we have available to run for the presidency of the United States. If our candidate, he or she, whoever that may be, loses, we ought to analyze why did they lose? Are we not getting the right message out? Are we out of step with what the consumer and the constituency wants to have done? Have we got the wrong messenger? There's a lot of reasons why people win and a lot of reasons why people lose in an election. And so if you lose, let's reevaluate where we're at and see if we can bring something better the next go-round. Elections are just short-term, 2 to 4 years, senator maybe 6 years, but we'll have a change that's going to occur all the time. My institute at Utah Valley, we're trying to get our young people to get involved. Our poorest demographic is the 18 to 25-year-old, to help them understand you've got to have your voice be heard for a lot of reasons, and participate now and make a determination. I'm always going to participate, make a commitment that I'm always going to vote. I'm proud to tell you that when I was in the Army, I made a commitment to myself. I would never not vote. I'd take every opportunity to make sure and vote. And I'm a very old guy now at 77 years of age. And I can tell you proudly as an American, as a Utahn, I've never, ever missed voting. And that's the kind of commitment we ought to all have, is to say we can make a difference by showing up and voting. The Herbert administration had great success, I think, because we worked with people collectively. We respected difference of opinion. We didn't say it's my way or the highway. I am unapologetically a right-of-center conservative, but I respect the people that have a different point of view. I don't have a pipeline of the Almighty, and I'm maybe right on every issue. So I'm a big believer in being moderate in tone. I don't think we get anywhere by calling people names or acting like they're dumb or stupid because they don't agree with me. So be moderate in tone and inclusive in process. As we gather around the table and say, let's reason together, saith Isaiah, and see if we can't come up with a solution to whatever the challenges of the day are. It should be a collective effort. Our founding fathers never believed that we were going to have partisan politics and parties, factions, George Washington called them. He thought we'd all be independent people working together for the good of the whole. And that part really we need to try to get back to. It shouldn't be us versus them as the enemy, and they need to be destroyed. We need to win at all costs. It ought to be a collectively, we, the people, we, the elected representatives of the people, ought to work together for the furtherment of the constituency and developing good policy and doing things that are appropriate. Again, we ought to remember we're not Republicans and Democrats first and foremost. We're Americans. We have a great country with a great Constitution which gives us guidance and direction about what we can do and what we should do and how we should do it. So get involved and make a difference. Let your voice be heard.